So we're getting here into like a 4 or 5 episode stretch where I'm going to be hard pressed to find anything stupid. If y'all have seen the first videos in this series, then y'all know that most of this has been a blend of tongue-in-cheek and just ultra quibbling with the show. That's not to say that some of this stuff hasn't been very stupid, but I remember the stretch of this show being among the absolute best things I had ever seen on TV. I remember watching episode 4 via HBO On Demand and loving it so much that I immediately rewatched the episode instead of just going to next on the list, episode 5. I've never done that with anything. Sure, I've rewatched stuff a lot. I've seen Spartacus and The Sopranos, a dozen times, but never felt the need to rewatch an episode as soon as the episode ended. But this is the part of Game of Thrones that really made me a huge fan of the show, so by the time that they brought the dragons and magic and the other goofy shit into the show, I was already hooked. It was too late. I'd already seen everything.
All her clothes fall off?
Yes, and she's scrabbling around to get them back on again, but even before she can get her knickers on, I've seen everything. I've seen it all.
So let's dive in here on what's stupid.
I've hoped to meet you for some time, Lord Stark. No doubt Lady Catelyn has mentioned me.
She has, Lord Baelish. I understand you knew my brother Brandon as well.
All too well. I still carry a token of his esteem. From navel to collarbone.
Perhaps you chose the wrong man to duel with.
Well, it wasn't the man that I chose, my lord. It was Catelyn Tully. A woman worth fighting for. I'm sure you'll agree.
Bruh.
Look, there are times when I'm asked to suspend disbelief, and I'm fine with it. Dragons, resurrections, Brienne beating the Hound in single combat. Okay, slap me in the face and let's get on with it, mother...
Get on with it, motherfucker. Excuse me, Major?
Then there are times when people just try to trick us. Oh look, exposition and introductions of new characters in Ned and King's Landing. And let's get to know all these people. Look at these shiny objects while the writing absolutely fails in places, but nah, we don't notice it because intrigue.
It's done. See, I'm very intrigued.
They're expecting that you suspend disbelief because you don't even actually notice this incredibly subtle introduction, exposition, dialogue exchange that makes no sense at all. All shows do this. Game of Thrones isn't immune, though they do this because they can, because most motherfuckers don't even know what subtle is. Do you catch it? Did you catch it here when I played it? Here, let's play it again.
I've hoped to meet you for some time, Lord Stark. No doubt Lady Catelyn has mentioned me.
She has, Lord Baelish. I understand you knew my brother Brandon as well.
All too well. I still carry a token of his esteem. From navel to collarbone.
Perhaps you chose the wrong man to duel with.
Well, it wasn't the man that I chose, my lord. It was Catelyn Tully. A woman worth fighting for. I'm sure you'll agree.
Ned Stark and Catelyn have been married and raising children and together every day, give or take a failed Greyjoy rebellion, for the better part of 20 years. And that time, Ned assures Baelish that he has definitely heard of him. 100%. And Cunt was first betrothed to Brandon, Ned's older brother, and so Ned's wife, who was first supposed to marry Ned's brother, and has told Ned all about Peter Baelish, and they have undoubtedly spoken about Brandon quite often, yet Cunt has never mentioned to Ned that Littlefinger, this whoremonger I've spent plenty of time once had a duel with your dead beloved brother Brandon over my hand in marriage, and I had to save him from dying because Brandon split him wide open. No, never mentioned that. Never mentioned it. Baelish drops this on Ned, and it's just all brand new information to Ned. What the fuck did Cunt tell him about Sneaky Pete then? I don't get it. How did she even manage to fit him into a conversation if it wasn't about specifically that? What are they just kicking around information about which whore has the best titties in King's Landing? No, this is stupid. It just is. It's merely forcing this bit of backstory onto the audience in a way that once again shits all over Ned. They love shitting on Ned.
I'll shit on you. I'll shit on you.
They love taking a shit on Ned. I'm convinced that Lord Eddard Stark is a fictionalized version of somebody who used to beat up George R.R. Martin and take his lunch money.
Go away!
Arya, open the door. Whose sword is that?
Mine.
Oh hell, I'm getting desperate for material, lads. This episode's pretty fucking good. I'm on the fence here. Hovering between this is a great scene and concept, certainly one that I enjoy, and is a natural necessary flow for the story, and then it being stupid and forced to get Arya into her dancing classes because that's where she needs to be in the story. I'm torn, seriously. And the only reason I'm speaking about this and showing this scene is so that y'all can see my thought process here when I decide to call something stupid or not. I do consider the context and the character and the point of view from the world and its framework. I do consider the subtext and the implications and the motivations. I do consider all that. So half of me thinks that Arya, fed up with Sansa and King's Landing in general, decided organically to be defiant and to allow her father to see the sword. Though the other half of me realizes that she had it hidden away entirely up until the very moment Ned knocked. And there's not even a pause here where we might think Arya is considering the implications of allowing her father to see it. Hides it because he'll take it away in a split second, decides not, it'll be fine and he can see it. Sorry to Scottish Mauler, I didn't mean to quote his shit there. Hey, I like his channel, what can I say? You know, we don't see her weighing the pros and cons in her head for even a moment before opening the door. So she just opens the door and the scene drags on, which is a good scene, I think. I enjoy the scene, and leads her into meeting Syrio Forel, which takes Arya on her journey. So, you know, which way, Westeros man? Does this fit with Arya's character as she decided to be defiant in her natural context and allow Ned to see the sword she was hiding? Or is it just a forced part of the plot to finally get around to setting up Arya's entire storyline throughout the series? Yeah, fuck it. I'm calling it stupid here. I just am. She had that sword hidden away entirely from everyone. And then when Ned knocks, she never even hesitates a single wink to jerk that door open when she heard that it was her dad, which means she wasn't intentionally being defiant and bratty about it. It was just a forced scene. Her sword was hidden away before he knocked, which meant she didn't want him to know about it because it was hidden. She hid the sword. I synced it.
I seen you pull somebody's jawbone off. I synced it.
Though I'm not going to put money down on this, as an argument can also be made that she was fed up and wasn't going to take it and wanted to be defiant and let her father know that she had the sword. Though until which point I hear a convincing argument for that, I'm labeling this as forced for plot development, unnatural to the story, therefore stupid.
I must admit I do not. Well, well, this is an historic day. Something you don't know that I do. There's only one dagger like this in all of the Seven Kingdoms. It's mine.
Yours?
At least it was, until the tournament on Prince Joffrey's last name day. I bet on Sir Jaime in the jousting, as any sane man would, when the Knight of the Flowers unseated him. I lost this dagger.
To whom?
Tyrion Lannister, the imp.
Man, people love this scene, so they might really want to break my balls on this. I know a lot of people won't think this is stupid, and it's definitely revealed in bits and pieces throughout the show and ultimately in season 7 how Baelish has been such an antagonist for the wars because he thinks chaos is a ladder, though it's not his ladder. He fell off that ladder many times.
Ladder, it is awesome.
Oh, now
And everybody wants this ladder. I live in an apartment with vaulted ceilings. Uh-oh.
That he's such a monkey wrench in the program isn't something I take issue with here. It's that he's using the dagger to instigate the shit. This is such a weak ass setup to frame Tyrion. What if any one of potentially dozens of people who were at Joffrey's name day tournament said he was lying and it wasn't Tyrion's dagger? What if, since Tyrion is smarter than Baelish, he convinces Cutland that it's a scheme and that he has no knowledge of the dagger? What if Cutland just figures it out on the road by talking to Sir Roderick?
Sir Roderick.
Baelish was very clever with what we find out in the latter seasons that he did. That he moved the pieces by having Cunt's crazy sister poison Jon Arryn. But this part here is sloppy and forced, and I say it's stupid because it really betrays Littlefinger's chess-like cunning and turns him into a checkers player here banking on luck. It seems to me like a way just to force the plot forward for all of the other scenes to come, but also to get this dagger into the story, which never has a payoff, which is one of the ways that Dan and Dave let us down in the latter seasons, 6, 7, 8, etc. And they never talked any more about the dagger, except that it's used by Arya, but we never get any lore or anything. But we knew that the dagger had a role to play, and I feel like this is just the point where they wanted to force it into the story. It doesn't make any sense for Littlefinger to try to pin that dagger to Tyrion. There's just so much here that can go wrong. So much. There are so many ways this can fall apart. It just betrays Littlefinger's intelligence. We have to believe so often that so many of these characters are truly smart and cunning, and then we have this word of mouth moment that just makes no sense to suggest Tyrion tried to murder her son with his own fucking weapon.
Everybody knew what this place was, but no one told me. No one but you.
What? Dude, you were told. You were told repeatedly. Now that Ned didn't tell you, yeah, I've been focused in on that these first 3 episodes. Ned's kind of a dick. Not sure why so many people liked him and mourned his loss so hard and considered him honorable. Perhaps the books do a better job at painting him as a good man. The show makes him look like a right piece of shit and even like low IQ. Even lying about how he defeated, quote unquote, Sir Arthur Dayne. Then he just treats Jon like garbage for Jon's entire life. So sure, I doubt Ned told him, but Benjen told him.
The wall isn't going anywhere. I'm ready to swear your oath. You don't understand what you'd be giving up. We have no families. None of us will ever father sons. I don't care about that.
Tyrion told him.
Rapers. Not impressed by your new brothers? Lovely thing about the watch. You discard your old family and get a whole new one.
Even Jaime told him.
To serve in such an elite force, and if not, it's only for life.
You were told, Jon Snow. You know what your fucking problem is, bro.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
That's what your fucking problem is. You were told that you weren't going to have a life there. You were shown that you would be in the company of robbers and rapers. You were told that it's for the rest of your fucking life. You were told most of this at a time when you could have easily turned away and changed your mind. And besides all that, what the fuck are you crying about? You're being bullied by Alistair here, sure, but you're returning that by bullying the plebs, and now you're crying as if you're oppressed. Do they teach gender studies at Winterfell? It's a scene that's more stupid than it is a bit of writing that's stupid, if that makes sense. But again, we're being asked to suspend our disbelief that Jon didn't know anything about the types of people he'd encounter on the wall. It's not like he made his decision in episode 1. His mind was already made up. So in that sense, it's just stupid writing to present Jon Snow as if he had no idea the sort of company he'd be keeping here. No way he believed it was all just second and third sons and bastards. I mean, come the fuck on. And it is also stupid a little bit in a writing aspect in that he says they left him there to rot.
My father knew. They left me to rot at the wall all the same.
You begged to go. Fucking dude, hell, shit, cock stuff, buck breaking curse words intensify. Whoever wrote this part acts like we didn't see episode 1 2 weeks previous this when Jon was fucking begging Benjen to take him. Begging him. I feel like this was an attempt to show Jon Snow feeling sorry for himself, but it was written poorly like we wouldn't notice. It's got me beaten on the table. That is all. And who the fuck is Sir Roderick? Who is Sir Roderick?
Sir Roderick.
They can write a ballad about us. The war for Cersei's cunt.
Stop showing women slapping men every time they get the least bit upset. For this show, I say it's a wash because Robert decks to pink out her cheeks later on. But every show out there just shows women abusing men every time they get a bit peeved.
Dewey Cox! I am not that kind of woman.
All right.
Is this a psyop to create misogyny? Stop it! After all, I thought it was only men who did this to women.
Listen to me, you little bukkak. Till you pay what you owe, that shaved twat of yours belongs to me. You understand?
If I had to go to my grave proclaiming the top 5 scenes from Game of Thrones, this would be in that list every time. Gods, I was strong then. I love it. I love how it plays out with Jaime and everything about it, except that I still think it's stupid. For 2 reasons. 1, it's my video. 2, they cut the fuck away from characters every single time they're giving the best dialogue. Granted, this doesn't meet the qualifications for stupid writing, but stupid editing should be on the list too, right? What about all those cutaways that we called stupid in episodes like The Long Night? There's no need to drone on about this one. It's just that every time they're getting to good dialogue, when I want to see their faces emote and really act these things out, like we can get the sense that they're feeling the memory, they cut the fuck away.
He came running at me, this dumb, high-born lad, thinking he could end the rebellion with a single swing of his sword. I knocked him down with the hammer. God, I was strong then.
Game of Thrones and cutting away. It's something they've done more in their show than any other show I can think of in history. Oh, you want to see how these characters might react to an earth-shattering revelation? Too bad. Next scene. Oh, you want to see the grimace and seriousness of Robert's face when he reminisces about how strong he used to be? Here's a scene of Barristan uncomfortably staggering and being forced to listen. Such stupidity. They just have to show Barristan Selmy with that exact same fucking expression on his face time after time as Robert's telling a killer story. It was a good story.
That was a good story, damn it.
Why do shows do this with whips? Indiana Jones did it. Tons of shows and movies do it. Why didn't Game of Thrones take a shot to be different here? There's no pressure on it. It's not tied. It doesn't have fucking Gorilla Glue at the end. It's being held loosely in his hand, so the idea that there's some great tension keeping the whip wrapped tightly around his neck is just ridiculous. Look, I'm from the Appalachian Mountains. We know whips. That's not a slavery joke. I'm 40, not 400, for fuck's sake. Just saying, we've used whips before for shits and giggles. Getting good with the whip for some people is like getting good with a shotgun or a bow. My best shot with a .223, which today is panic porn and called an AR-15, is a cherry of a lit cigarette at 50 yards. Total fluke probably, but I pretend I'm a marksman when I talk to the ladies and pretend I'm Doc Holliday. But seriously, if ever I do a video on any show or movie that displays the physics of a whip as some magical snake lasso that you cannot get off your neck until the whip holder loosely flips his wrist like every month is Pride Month, I'm going to call that shit stupid. But other than that, I like this scene. This is back when everyone thought Danny might actually be an interesting character.
They had a better chance finding feed than glory. A night's watch is a joke to you, is it? Is that what we are, Lannister? An army of jesters in black?
Yes, I know, I'm reaching. I know. And it's not that I felt this scene was stupid necessarily, it's just that I didn't see a point, which I guess makes it stupid. The entire scene is set up to have Benjen come in there and throw rain on Tyrion's parade. Benjen didn't come in there to talk to Euron about anything, no breaking news, no orders from Mormont, nothing of that sort, and he didn't even seem to know, per the show's setup, that Tyrion was even in there. Benjen was going below and out the tunnel, no reason to be here at all. Yeah, y'all, I tell you, shit that's forced into a show just to see it happen and so the audience can get a good scene and take away from it is something I'll call stupid every day. I don't care that the scene was good. I don't care that I love the dialogue in the scene. Benjen had no reason to be here for this exchange, but this exchange is something we're given because reasons. There's not even any real exposition here. Nothing explanatory to the show, just a chance to show another Stark angry at a Lannister because it builds tension between the two families for the wars to come. My verdict is stupid. Feel free to be wrong, disagree in the comments below.
Listen, Benjen, may I call you Benjen?
Call me what you like.
I'm not sure what I've done to offend you. I have great admiration for the Night's Watch. I have great admiration for you as First Ranger.
You know, my brother once told me that nothing someone says before the word but really counts.
Plus, there's no way he knows that there's a butt coming here. Butt my ass. Moving on.
At Jaka.
At Jahaka.
At Jahaka.
At Jahaka.
At Jahakar.
Yes, Khaleesi.
Look, call me crazy, but in the show, Daenerys and her High Valyrian or whatever she speaks sounds close enough to Dothraki that I just don't understand why she can't get it. But since, as far as we know, at this point in the show, this is the first time she's speaking a foreign language because it isn't revealed that High Valyrian is her mother tongue until she enslaves the Unsullied for her own war in season 3, I believe it is. So I'll leave it alone. I'd really like to go in on this, but at this point in the show, it's not stupid because latter stuff hasn't been revealed.
Dovageris!
Raji Valire.
Nigay Daenerys gel masmo en Targaryen entrot. En Valeria wepoana garexan. Valeria munioengos nuihis isa. At Jaka.
At Jahaka.
At Jahaka.
Ano que sendo trakoi.
Alajigesimai, mavijazari atinarmai. Bosman boss.
I don't hear the difference. Yes.
Horseback, the curved blade is a good thing. Easy to handle. It's a good weapon for a Dothrakam. But a man in full plate, sorry, Tawakov. The Arak won't get through the steel. That's where the broadsword has the advantage.
Yeah.
Designed for piercing plate.
Armor, it make a man, bruised?
Slow.
Slow.
It's true.
It also keeps a man alive.
It also keeps a man alive.
So here's another scene I mentioned to call stupid, but in reality it just makes Season 8 stupid. Here, Jorah is talking about how all these weapons won't penetrate armor, but in Season 8 all bets are off and armor was like paper mache. Not stupid, as this is still early on, but how in the hell did they just abandon that armor was supposed to provide armor, a life-saving implement? Fucking dolts. You know, anyways, that's it for this one. This is the third episode of the series I've covered. Let me give these like a week to fester out there, maybe see if anyone stops by to watch them. I've never made a video where I've asked anyone to subscribe or like the content. I don't monetize my content and don't attempt to use it as some link to drive people elsewhere. This is shit I do when I'm bored, now that I'm 40 as opposed to chasing tail in my 20s. It's a better habit too. I can fail hard as fuck here and it'll never burn when I pee or leave me shocked and broke 9 months later. Even still, I don't want to shout entirely into the void. I'd love to pick up enough views on these videos that it spurs some dialogue in the comment section. This is when Game of Thrones was actually good, and we shouldn't forget just how good it was. But I'm going to find stupid shit, I swear. We'll smoke your sacred cows over hickory and eat them with coleslaw. Peace.